Hello, my name is Garrett. This is a video series I am creating that is, as the title suggests, kind of just documenting my attempts to grow from rock bottom and become a better person, become the person I want to be. Uh, I think in this video I need to give somewhat of a disclaimer, probably. Um, just that uh, this video gets darker than the last videos I made, and hopefully it's the darkest video I ever make. I hope, because it's not a good sign if it gets worse than this. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to just like throw out everything I talk about up front, but uh, gets to pretty uh, potentially triggering places, I would imagine, for some people. And so if you're not in the headspace to be able to listen to that without it affecting you negatively, then I would not watch this. To start off, I always just give a recap. I'm going to give the bluntest recap I can of what rock bottom was. If you want a more detailed look at what that is, my week one video, I go over it pretty in depth. But pretty much, I have just had an escalating addictive personality for like 10 years. Mainly porn, weed, video games, TV shows, the internet, a lot of things that in itself aren't really considered super problematic. It's more the usage and how it's affected me that makes it really destructive. But over the course of like 10 years, it really eroded my life and has caused a lot of self destruction and self loathing. And the porn addiction escalated into compulsively visiting escorts, both trans and cis female, which was really negatively impactful for me because I consider myself straight and grew up very religious. And it created a lot of shame and confusion and reached a point for a while where I was pretty suicidal. That was like 2 years ago when I would say I was at my lowest or like stuck in my lowest for a year. Um, yeah, in all my videos before the last one, I always said I'm not there anymore. Uh, and I don't think I am. I'm not where I was. I've made progress. I have grown, but I'm so much closer than I realized a month ago. Uh, yeah. So I am just gonna do what I do every week. I haven't made a video for 3 weeks, which is not a good sign. If I'm not posting weekly, there's nothing but bad reasons why that is. I'm just going to go over the last 3 weeks, and I'm going to try to refrain from self judgment about it up front. And I'm going to refrain from trying to excuse my behavior and justify it. It's really bad. I don't want to share it at all, but that's the whole point of this, right? Is share everything, be transparent, kill the shame. So yeah, the okay. So I think the last point I shared was around here, I believe, where oh, okay, sorry, now it was here. Where I'd had 2 really bad weeks and it had been like 13 hours of porn in 2 weeks, and texted a lot of escorts and had gone to visit one. Yeah, that was actually Tuesday. So it was Wednesday when I posted, Wednesday the 21st. And I'd gone to visit one. I hadn't actually gone through with it, but I was in a pretty negative headspace after that because I was just blown away that I had devolved to that point. I thought I was honestly past all of that, and I really had gotten to a headspace where I started to believe in myself. I feel like, and I started to catch a glimpse of like what life could be like without this behavior and without constant self-sabotage and self-destruction. And I was really excited and happy about what that felt like and how I was feeling about myself and my future. Um, so I was in a pretty negative headspace. Honestly, it's just kind of gotten worse since then. Uh, for week 4 and week 5 of May, I still kept up the positive habits just because of the expectation I set for myself was like the rule I've created in the system I'm trying to build and follow is 3 months of 90% completion in a row means I can upgrade the habits and stack on more or increase the difficulty. And I really wanted to do that. I wanted to move forward and start uh, level up, essentially. It's like how the framework is. It's level 1, level 2, level 3 of habit stacking. And I wanted to get to the next level. And it was just a sign of progress. And I was really excited. And so I kept doing the positive habits, at least. But outside of that, I was kind of collapsing. I'd say for the remainder of that month, I was still holding it together a little bit. Um, I wasn't working nearly as much, but I hadn't quit one of my jobs yet, and so I still had some structure with work, and I still wasn't like spending a lot of money. I was kind of going off the deep end with porn, but there was still some effort to keep it together, and I was doing some things for myself. This Saturday, the 24th, is kind of when it all really started collapsing, I think. That was my last day of work at one of my jobs, and that was a job that had a lot more hours and was really keeping me afloat mentally, I think. And leaving it, I was already kind of spiraling out of control, and removing the main source of structure from my life, I was scared of what that meant, and I knew it was probably not a good thing. And there were reasons I felt it was necessary. But it's, yeah, had a pretty drastic negative effect. I have just allowed myself to kind of fall into porn consistently every day and do the texting escorts but not following through with it. And I've started drinking a lot, which I didn't drink for like a year and a half, and that was helping me a lot. And there's no reason to reintroduce that, but it's just another added thing in the storm. So the month overall was really bad. The first, the start of the month, like financially and with hours worked, it wasn't a total collapse because the start of the month was still pretty good, and I still had kind of mandatory hours I had to work. And the habits were still good, but the porn use was getting horrendous. I only overcame 8 out of 55 urges. The last 2.5 months, I was 100% on urges overcome. So that is horrible in comparison, relative. So that was only 14% when the goal was 70, and I had been hitting 100. Hours of porn consumed. My goal for the month was 4. I hit 28, which again is just horrendous. That is like I feel like that's more reminiscent to some of the worst months of my life, where I just start really going off the deep ends and just kind of give up on myself and just allow me to roll around in the filth, and I just stop caring at all. Escorts texted 48, which is, yeah, it's terrible. 800% of my goal. And it was one escort visited. Again, I count it because I showed up, because I got in the building and I paid them, and like I think I need to count that. But I didn't go through with it. It's not the same as, if I would have like had sex with him. Because I, like I said in the last video, I pushed them off and ran out the door and like freaked out for about an hour. But it's still, I've been an escort. And then the last 2 weeks have been just as terrible. Um, Actually, worse, I would say, because I have just not really been working outside of the job I'm still at. I only work 2 nights a week, and so it's like 13 hours. And outside of that, I haven't worked at all, which is a insane amount of free time. And when I have free time, I tend to just destruct and engage in every behavior I don't want to engage in and distract myself and escape endlessly. Once I hit the new month, the whole motivation with the positive habits kind of was gone. And I just stopped doing anything healthy. I started distracting myself with video games, TV shows, getting drunk, porn, buying stupid shit, and just every form of escapism that I know. And the porn and the texting escorts was, still pretty frequent. I do a little bit better on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Those are the days I work. Those tend to just be a little better. Honestly, the numbers here with porn consumed and escorts texted, I've gone back and I've gotten those numbers correct. Porn consumed, I don't even know because I wasn't tracking pretty much this whole time. Like I stopped doing anything healthy, and I completely devolved into the worst version of myself. Yeah, it's embarrassing to post this on the internet. It makes me want to not. It makes me want to just give up on this, delete all the videos, and move on. But that's not going to make anything better. That's just going to make it worse. This progress theory stuff is only a failure if I give up. And from the start, the whole point was like, show it all. Show the journey. Like, I believe I'll arrive one day. Or not arrive, but I believe I'll overcome the most self-destructive tendencies and overcome the compulsive behavior and become someone that I am impressed by and I am proud of. And I wanted there to be evidence and documentation of what I was like in my worst moments. And so that's kind of the hope with this video, is it doesn't get worse than this and it goes up, and this is just a moment I look back on with sadness, but also pride for how far I come in the future. Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard for me to look at this, and it's both. I find it a little bit funny, but mostly just super depressing. Thinking about, in April, I had a journal entry where I wrote, "This is the best month of my life. This is the best I've ever felt about myself." And I was just really optimistic about the future and the direction I was heading. And I really think it was the best month of my life. Like, it was the best I've ever felt about myself and my ability to show up for other people and my future and what the near future would look like and what the far future would look like. And looking at these numbers, where I was working 60-hour weeks and I was making more money than I planned to and hitting 100% or 90% plus on my positive habits and overcoming every urge, it just blows my mind how far I can fall so quickly. and how I can just regress and devolve into my worst behaviors and the worst version of me. Um, so yeah, there's a lot. This will be a longer video if you've already made it 15 minutes in, clearly. Because there's multiple things I think I need to talk about. Just from my own processing, but also to kind of try to derive lessons from this experience and try to figure out how to move forward. The first thing is just I kind of want to just go over what the spiral is like mentally, like what is happening in my head and what rationalizations am I telling myself to justify allowing this to happen. In this scenario, I think it was kind of a perfect storm of my ex and I broke up, and I felt really sad from that. I felt really guilty and confused and pretty miserable. And it was just, that's a universal thing. Breakups suck. And I worked with my ex, which was one of the big reasons. I mean, there were multiple, but that was a major reason why I left that job. Because I didn't think it was fair of me to put her through that. I didn't really want to put myself through that, of having to see them. I think it would make it harder for both of us to move on, and it would make work a miserable environment. So I felt that was kind of my obligation to leave. And that was a main source of structure. And in my past, a very clear lesson I've learned is who I am right now. I don't do well in environments where I need a lot of self-discipline and self-control. Like, it is very helpful for me to have structured work, and to have a place where I have set hours and I have people who depend on me to show up. Because I won't just not show up. I show up for work when I'm being, when other people are relying on me. And recently I'd like allowed drinking back into my life, with very clear rules of, I can drink wine, 2 glasses, 1 day a week. And for a month or two, I followed that. And I made it just became like 2-3 days a week, but still 2 glasses. And then after the breakup, there was a night where I had 3 beers, 3 of the highest alcohol content beers there are. Crossed that line, and then there's another night where I bought a 6-pack and was like, I'm just gonna drink 2 of them, and I drank all 6. That was the night I first visited the escort. And since then, it's just, it starts with, as I said in the last video, I was putting off hard conversation, and I was avoiding difficulty, and avoiding something that I felt a responsibility to go through with. And I started feeding that part of myself that just avoids and escapes. And then I felt really sad and guilty and confused because of the breakup. And then I started to spiral, started to engage in negative behaviors again. And I just struggle to separate myself from my failures in that regard. When I watch porn and when I fail to live up to my own expectations, I feel an immense shame. I feel pathetic, and I feel weak, and I feel angry, and I hate myself. I hate it. And over the course of years, I have developed a behavioral pattern of when I feel bad, I watch porn, or I smoke weed, or I drink, or I binge watch a show, or play video games, or do them all and mix them all together and just escape the feeling. I don't know how to sit with that feeling. It consumes me. And so I do things that make me feel better in the moment and make the feeling go away. But that's the addictive cycle, is when you start doing things that medicate your emotions, but that also cause their emotions, you're medicating. Like every time I escape, whatever I'm doing is temporary. It doesn't last. It's not fulfilling. And then I feel worse afterwards. I feel more shame. I feel more self-hatred. I feel more anger and disgust. And the only way to fix it in that moment, I'm pretty much left with two choices. If I can deal with it, and I can face the emotion, and I can feel the emotion and process it and try to move forward in a healthy way, or I can just do one more day and give in one more day and just not feel it. And then the more I give in one more day, the easier it is to give in another day and another day. And then it's a week, and I give it in 2 weeks, and then a month, and then a fucking year. And I just keep escaping the feelings in the moment by engaging in behavior that causes the feelings and the circumstances I'm trying to escape to get worse and worse. And then it just becomes harder to get out of it, and easier to rationalize just giving in a little longer, because the consequences stack and the pain stacks, and all of the everything that results from my own actions just starts to stack up more and more. And I think another big thing for me in this, that's kind of a core takeaway from my relationship and these experiences that have come out of the end of it, is that I think a part of me really hates myself. My ex was an amazing person. She was an incredibly loving person. And I think she made me feel lovable. She kind of made me believe in myself for the first time ever. And she made me feel like maybe I could be loved. Like maybe I deserve to be loved. Maybe I'm okay. And I don't need to hate myself. And I don't need to be so disgusted. And she had become, I think, the main source of my self-esteem. Because my entire life I have never felt good enough. I have felt pathetic and disgusting and weak. And I felt like I need to be better than everyone else in order to have any value. And I need to accomplish this so I can accomplish this, so I can accomplish this, so I can be the best human alive. And then I'll feel okay. And she just made me feel better about who I was, and made me feel like, wow, someone sees me and isn't disgusted. And she believed in me. And I mean, more than that, it's like I was shitty to her. I lied about my behavior for over a year. And I was actively engaging in texting escorts, and I convinced myself, like, when I'm keeping it hidden, I know it's wrong. I knew it was wrong the whole time, but it's easy to convince myself, like, I'm not sleeping with them. This is just like another version of porn, and it's not okay, but it's not cheating. And it's like, it's not okay, and that was not right, and I did wrong by her. And she forgave me. And not only that, but like, I saw the pain I caused her, and I had to face it, and I had to see what, like, actually accept what I'd done and see the consequences of my actions, and it made me feel responsible to do better and to do my best for her. And I started to really feel like all of my success in the last few months was, I do think it was because of the system I'm building, that I was able to immediately overcome urges and start building positive behavior and start building belief in myself and shifting my identity. I don't think it was just her and her love that, and my responsibility to her, that caused that change, but I think that was the motivation, because I don't think I care about myself. I don't think it's a coincidence that as soon as we broke up, I just gave up, because I think that I just, at my core, hate who I am and hate my past and hate my behavior. And I find it pathetic and weak and disgusting and revolting. And I think part of me just thinks I deserve it. I deserve to hate myself. I deserve to be miserable. Because look at what I've done. It's like, look at what I'm doing. Like, I suck. And it's so, and just that, saying that feels pathetic. It's like, and it just adds to it. It's like, wow, this is so self-pitying and so it's such a victim mindset and so embarrassing. And I'm ashamed of how I feel about this. And it's just a never-ending cycle of, so yeah, it's like, it doesn't matter how good a system for improvement is if you don't care enough to try. And I don't think I know how to show up for myself. I don't trust myself to do anything I say I'm going to do. I don't trust myself to do the right thing. Ever. I've just I've spent most of my conscious life doing the things I say I'm not going to do and not doing the things I say I'm going to do. There's no reason to trust myself. Like, all the evidence says I shouldn't. And that brings me to, there's a video that I'm going to play. I've kind of wrestled with whether this is something I should show, because it's very private and it's a very vulnerable moment. And I didn't make it with the expectation that I was going to show it to anybody. But there have been a couple nights where I've gone to visit escorts since, and I've backed out each time. There's been 3 different moments, I think, where I've actually gotten in the car, gone to the hotel, really wrestled with doing it, and like pretty much stepped up to the line, gotten as close as I could. And I backed out each time. I didn't go through with it, which it's like the one positive thing, one thing I can kind of take pride in, I think. But one of the last ones, I put my gun up to my head, and I didn't think I was going to do it. I didn't do it. I didn't cock it. I didn't put a bullet in the chamber. But I recorded like 5 minutes of me just going through my thought process in that moment. And I think it's worth showing me at my worst moment, showing me in the depths of the compulsion and addictive process. And it's just a glimpse into the headspace that kind of gets me in those moments. So I'm going to play that and then talk about it a little bit afterwards.
Came here to get fucked by a trans escort. I just put a dildo in my ass after buying it 3 hours ago. I fucking fucked myself with it in anticipation, trying to hype myself up to do it, to go through with it. I stopped and I started fucking crying, and I talked to ChatGPT and it told me to leave, and then I left. And it's 2 minutes away, bro. So I left and went back home, and then I came back, and then I put my fucking handgun to my head. I'm not gonna do it. I didn't cock it. It's so fucking stupid. Because I'm not gonna kill myself. I want to, dude. I just want to be done with this. It's just pathetic. It is. It's fucking stupid. It's so ridiculous. For years, I just keep doing things that make me hate myself. And then I play the victim and I act like it's so hard. And it is, but it's also like, dude, it's my doing. I'm doing this. I hate that. It's so fucking stupid. I can't kill myself. I can't do that to the people in my life. It's not fair. I haven't earned that. There's so much worse circumstances that can happen in this world than this. Than, I can't stop fucking hookers. I just can't stop giving in. I'm just so weak. It's so fucking stupid, dude. It's like there are people in this very moment that are being tortured actively. There are people that are dying of cancer. There are people who are being raped at this current moment. Completely out of their control. They have no power. And I'm sitting here talking about fucking killing myself and scarring everyone I love in my life. Because I can't stop just giving in to my fucking pathetic urges. Dude, I fucking hate that. I hate myself. Because it's so fucking ridiculous. I'm so tired of it. And I wish I could just never have been born. Because I don't want to scar the people in my life. I don't want to. I can't. I can't do that. I can't do that to my parents, or my brother, or my friends. I can't. I haven't earned it. I don't deserve that. But I just wish it could be over. I wish everyone could forget I ever existed. And I could just be done.
Yeah, like I said, that was kind of the moment after I put my gun to my head and I was in the parking lot of a hotel. My immediate feeling when I watched that, I showed it to my therapist the next day. It's shame. It's embarrassment. The video feels very woe is me and pathetic. I've said that word like 50 times. I said it in the video a couple times. And I think it just reveals, the main thing it reveals to me is how there's clearly just part of me, or like deep down, I just, like I already talked about, hate who I am. And I find myself to be disgusting and weak and pathetic and worthless. And I reference how I don't deserve it. I haven't earned the right to kill myself. Which I think just highlights all of those core beliefs of like, I find myself so sad and pathetic and worthless that I don't even think I deserve suicide. Like, my suffering my circumstances are so pathetic that I haven't even earned that. And I see the issue with this line of thinking. I want to make it clear that I recognize how harsh I am on myself and how horribly I talk to myself in my worst moments is actively contributing to the problem. The healthiest version of me looks on that video and says, I feel the pain. Like, it is stemming from pain. And just because it's self-induced suffering doesn't mean it's not real suffering. And stop discrediting the pain that you're feeling. And, like, I forgive you. I love you. I am sorry that you have to feel this. And the worst version of me, the version of me I devolve into when I start to spiral, says, wow, fuck you, you pathetic worm. This is all your fault. And you're sitting here crying and trying to garner sympathy from yourself and other people. You're garbage. It's pathetic. It's weak. Just stop doing it. You're sitting here talking about killing yourself because of your own actions that you repeat. Just stop doing it. And that's how I've talked to myself for years. I mean, that's like the last 6 years of my life. I've gotten better. I've started, more often than not, I'm talking to myself in a healthier way. But when I really start to spiral, that's my internal monologue, is just sheer disgust. And like, you should be ashamed, you disgusting rat. And honestly, it got even worse than that. Just the rest of the week after that, or the next week, I just kept excusing one more day, and then I kept getting drunk. And there was a night that I actually loaded my shotgun and put it in my mouth, and took off the safety and put my hand on the trigger. And I did it all saying I'm not going to do it. I wasn't actively fighting the urge to like, yeah, let's do it right now. I would never kill myself in my room. I would not leave someone I love to find that. At least I think. But I think I just want to. I just wanted to feel what it'd be like to be right there. Like, all I had to do was press with one finger, and it could all be over. And I'd never have to feel any of it ever again. So yeah, I want to go kind of in depth a little bit on the thought process that's going into that, and the thought process that's keeping me alive, keeping me from doing it. I think one of the worst parts about my worldview, I don't believe in an afterlife. I think the entirety of who we are is a result of our brain and our nervous system. And as soon as we die, we just don't exist. And it's a very freeing thought for me. A lot of the time, and when I'm healthy, I feel invigorated by that. Of like, all I have is this life. Like, let's make the most of it. I don't have to worry about my mistakes are going to be gone. Like, all the pain I feel, all the suffering, all the mistakes, all the failure, it doesn't matter in the end. I just won't exist, and I won't feel pain. I won't feel regret. I won't feel anything. But it also, when I'm really spiraling emotionally, it feels like a way out that has no consequences. Like, if all I feel is misery and hatred and self-loathing and disgust and shame, why not just fucking put a bullet in my brain? I don't want to feel that anymore. Ever. I never have to feel it again. And I think when I'm at my lowest point, like when I'm actually putting a shotgun in my mouth, and loading it and taking every step to make suicide a real option in that moment, I think the thought process that really takes over when I'm spiraling deeply is what's kept me alive this whole time, is the belief that I will figure this out and I will become someone I can be proud of and who has a positive impact on the world, and I can take all of this experience and help people with it, figure out lessons and learn from it in a way to where I can help make the world a better place. So my belief in a future and in a better future for myself and my world keeps me going. And I care about the people in my life, and it makes me sick thinking my impact would primarily just be pain for my family and my friends and my ex and everyone I care about. But when I really start to think about killing myself, I start to question, like, what if this is all I ever am? Like, what if my life is just this until I die? What if I am the bad guy? It's like the people who do the worst things have a story of why they're the victim and why they are the good guy, and it's their circumstances that have made this happen and how they're misunderstood. I think a lot of the time their circumstances are the reason it's happened, but it doesn't change the actions itself. It doesn't change the fact that they're hurting people and they are selfish and they are actively contributing to the suffering in this world. And on a certain level, like, you can have compassion for someone who's done horrible things because of the circumstances that produced those things, but you also have to acknowledge the action itself is wrong, and it is causing suffering. And the thought that, like, I'll never get out of this, and I'll always just be someone who is selfish and self-absorbed and is a slave to my impulses and never shows up for other people and lies and manipulates. When I future cast what that life looks like, it's like I would rather die. I and where I get really fucked up is I start thinking maybe killing myself is the right thing to do. Like maybe it's going to cause pain to the people I love right now. It's going to cause a lot of pain. But if my life is just this, especially if this escalates into worse and worse behaviors, then I'm never going to be able to show up for anybody. And I'm just going to constantly be a burden on the people in my life. And I'm just going to suck the energy out of everyone and be shitty to everyone I ever love. And maybe I'll end up causing more pain and more suffering into this world by staying alive than I will be by just killing myself now. Because if this is all I am, selfishly, I can't do this forever. I can't, my life can't be this. Like, I'd rather die. I'd rather not exist than live with this feeling and these. But even selflessly, it starts to feel like, well, maybe I'd be doing right by everyone else by just killing myself too. It'd be easier if I could just erase my memory. I want to emphasize, like, this is my recapping of my worst moments. This isn't exactly how I feel. Because I also, like, I get, if there's any hope that I improve and I become a better person and I start to learn how to do right by others and how to show up for other people, if I kill myself now, all I'll ever be is pain and trauma. That is my legacy. That's my impact. If I stay alive and keep trying to do better, there's a chance I do better. And that I start treating people better and doing right by people. And I can have the positive impact that I think I'm capable of having. And it would be wrong to destroy that chance and to solidify a negative impact. When there's potential that I can be better. It's like I'm not a lost cause yet. I've seen growth. I see a path forward. I think that is when I think about why people kill themselves or why people don't when they want to, it seems to me there's like three main reasons. It's like if you have a belief in a better future and hope in a better future, that is a strong reason to stay alive. If you have people you care about and that you feel responsibility to and that you don't want to hurt, that's a strong motivation. And if you care about yourself, that's a strong motivation. I think what I'm missing is I just don't care about myself. I don't even think that's true. I don't think it's that I don't care about myself. I think there's part of me that feels like I deserve this. Like, I hate myself. I hate what I've done. I hate who I'm capable of becoming. And I get so hung up on that. I do really care about not hurting the people in my life, but in my worst moments, I start to rationalize why I'd be doing the right thing for them by killing myself. And so I think the only thing that's really keeping me here is I still believe that I can be better and that I can do the right thing and that I can make the world better if I keep going. And once I lose that, I think I'm gone. And while I keep stepping up to that line, like in that moment when I put the gun in my mouth and I had my finger on the trigger, I'm doing it saying I'm not going to cross that line. But I've done a lot of things saying I'm not going to cross the line. Every time I visit an escort, that is the thought process that gets me there. And when I am removing the barrier to doing it, and I'm reducing the gap between killing myself and not killing myself to simply a push of my thumb, I'm opening myself up to just a sheer second impulse being the difference between suicide and staying alive. And I can't keep stepping up to that line. That's not. Eventually, I'll do it if I keep entertaining and flirting with the idea. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in a good headspace. I don't think I'm suicidal right now. Or I am, but like not dangerously so, I would say. Because there's part of me that really wants to live. There's part of me that believes in my future and believes in the impact I can have and believes and cares deeply about the people in my life. And even if I can tell myself, like, most of them will get over it, they will. Time heals wounds. It would suck up front for most of them, but they'd get over it. I think the only ones who wouldn't would be my parents. And to be honest, existentially, I'm a burden on them anyways, and that's all I'll ever be. So it's like, despite all of those thoughts, I do care. I don't want to cause them pain, and that's keeping me going. So yeah, like I said, this is a pretty fucking dark entry in the series, and I'm hoping it's the darkest that there will be. I've taken a couple steps. I've started talking to people. I journaled pretty in depth a couple days ago, and I started tracking things again, and I'm recognizing that I can't keep going one more day, or I'm gonna put a fucking bullet in my brain. So like, I need to start moving forward. I can't sit in this any longer without there being potentially catastrophic consequences. So steps forward from here is the last thing I'm going to talk about. I kind of split it up into two categories here. There was the immediate harm reduction of remove my guns from the environment. If I'm putting my gun to my head, then I don't need a gun. And I did that yesterday or 2 days ago. Which I'm proud of that, I guess. Of, while part of me wants to kill myself, there's part of me that doesn't, and is really hanging on and pushing to stay alive. And then the other immediate harm reduction, every time I put a gun to my head, I've been drunk. And while causation does not equal correlation, when it's life or death, I think I should just take the chance and stop getting drunk. Doesn't add anything to my life. There's so many reasons not to do it and no real reason to. So stop drinking is the other immediate harm reduction step for me. And then there is the more of the like general steps forward of how do I start pulling myself out of this and engaging in positive activity and shifting back into a healthier identity and headspace. I am taking a trip to visit a friend that I is just an amazing dude, and it's a very healthy person, mentally. And I think just an immediate environmental shift for a couple days will be nice for me. I'm going to take some time to journal more and kind of think through what the steps forward really look like. An immediate one is just re-engaging in the positive habits. And I think I'm going to change my approach to that, to really make all the habits I'm engaging in right now ones that are designed to help combat those underlying beliefs, like self-talk recordings, deliberate reframing, mindfulness. I don't know. I don't know how to not hate myself. That's all I've ever known. I think I'm only comfortable in that state, because I don't know how to really genuinely love myself. I have ideas of what that looks like, and that's all I can really do right now. But I clearly need to. I think that is the biggest bottleneck for me right now, is the fact that I, on some level, just don't give a shit about myself, and I think I deserve all this pain and suffering, and I need to build my system up front around combating that and learning how to reframe it and shift those beliefs. So I'm gonna explore that a little bit and then rebuild my habits around really trying to develop a genuine self-love and self-esteem that's not rooted in my own performance, and just acceptance of, maybe I'm not extraordinary. Maybe I never will be, and maybe that's just okay. Because the path I'm on is not leading me anywhere extraordinary. It's not working. So maybe just give that up. And then also just start trying to overcome urges again. I mean, the tool I was using works when I use it. The problem is sometimes I just stop using it. And anytime I start, like when I watch any porn, I just immediately am filled with shame and judgment and self-loathing. And the responsibility I felt to do my best for my ex created substantial positive change immediately. And I don't know if I have that capacity right now, when the only motivation is to care about myself, to do it for myself. But it doesn't matter. Like, I don't need to be perfect. I just need to try. I just need to, every time, just get back up and try again. Try to overcome the urge. If I overcome some of them, that's better than none of them. And over time, it'll get better and better. So yeah, there's definitely more steps forward here. I have not fully processed everything. This video is a huge part of my internal processing. Yeah, and that's I think that's all these videos really are right now, because I don't think anyone actually watches them. And I get it. Like, I'm just sitting here talking about myself for a pretty long amount of time. And the hope is that anyone who watches it can at least derive something from these videos that helps them move forward and helps them grow. But right now, I don't have it figured out. I don't know how to help people grow, because I don't fully know how to help myself grow. I'm committed to figuring it out, and I don't know. I'm hoping there's something in my rambling and my internal processing that resonates with anyone who actually takes the time to watch this. But the theory is that up front, I'm the guinea pig. all I really have is my own experience, and I tend to try to derive lessons from my experience, and then I extrapolate them and try to generalize them to humanity as a whole. And to some degree, it's all I can do right now because I only have access to my own experience and my own results. But the thought is, as I do this, and up front, it's very self-absorbed and it's very self-directed, and it's me talking about myself. Hopefully, I can get better and I can figure things out and I can move forward. And as I start to move forward and start to understand genuine growth and put together a system, I can start having people try the system and I can start looking at their results and talking to them and refining the system as more and more people go through it. And I learn not only from my own experience but from other people's until it eventually reaches a point where there's proven data within the system. That's why I'm so big on numbers and spreadsheets and KPIs that show that it is effective for every human being. The goal is, over the course of decades, this could become a proven system for overcoming addictive behavior and developing positive behavior and optimizing the human experience for growth and fulfillment. And so it is very self-absorbed right now. And I question sometimes if, maybe that's one of the steps to overcoming this is stop focusing so much on myself. Because when I'm spiraling, I'm very selfish. And I'm very self-absorbed. It's all I think about. And I don't show up for other people because of it. I lie and I manipulate and I don't follow through on my commitments. And when I'm doing healthy or doing better, and when I'm engaging in more healthy behavior and making progress, seemingly, I'm still pretty self-absorbed. It's still me spending a lot of time journaling about my thoughts and my feelings and working on systems, and all my time is pretty much spent trying to not self-destruct. And part of me thinks like I need to focus on myself to fix this so I can focus on other people. And I also wonder if maybe that mindset is hurting me. But it's not lost on me that these videos are pretty self-absorbed. But yeah, all that to say, I hope if anyone actually watched all of it, that there is something you're taking away. Something in it, in my rambling, is helping you move in a positive direction in your life. So yeah, for now, I am gonna stay alive. That is primary win. I'm gonna stop entertaining suicide as an option. Now I'm going to start just taking small steps and moving forward. And I will be back next week. And whether it's a good or bad week, I'm going to stay alive and share it. So anyone watching this, I hope you find the growth you're looking for in your life. Until next week.